of all, you look phenomenal. Just get out here. Like, this is unbelievable. I have to tell everyone. Okay, so obviously we're switching out guests. Lewis is there coming in, hustling over from Get Up. So they're pushing Lewis in the chair all the way into a full, complete car crash. The airbags would have went off. I apologize. If you want to talk to HR, are you okay?
A lesser athlete like Stephen A. would have fell into this table and busted his grill all out.
Really? Why would you have to go there? Why we got to go there?
You know you're my guy.
I mean, you ain't got to go there. You know what I'm saying? You know,
core strength, held it together.
I noticed how your blue suit, she said something about that, but she didn't say nothing about mine. I don't need that.
But you know what? I mean, no, Stephen A., it's honestly, it's how we put it. It's how we put it together with the watch and everything.
I actually was going to
complimented you the other day.
compliment you too.
Thank you very much.
That's a nice look.
Yeah, I don't know about the shirt choice, but yesterday you did good, pattern on pattern.
You don't know about the shirt?
Got to get Stephen A. with his presidential fold.
Yeah.
What you trying to say,
Shaq? The presidential fold, Stephen A. You see the presidential fold? You see the presidential fold? You see Lewis presidential fold?
See, I got to bring a new flavor to the presidency. You can't be that kind of pocket square. It's got to be something.
No. We're going to vote you out of office.
It ain't working right now.
Okay, just accept the
just take it. Yeah, just let it go.
It's a good look.
Yeah.
It's a good
look. Hey, fellas. Yeah. Ladies.
Oh, here we go.
I approve this message.
Okay. Lewis, would Pittsburgh make noise next season with Aaron Rodgers under center?
Yeah, I think they would, Molly, provided a couple other things fall into place. Like, number one, this offensive line has got to ascend into a top 10 type of offensive line instead of like a mid-level 15, 16, 17, 17th ranked offensive line when you're talking about run block and pass block win rate. Look, Aaron needs to be protected at this point in his career. Sure. But I do believe that he would level up this offense because for a number of different reasons. Number one, because of the fact that he has seen it all and done it all at the NFL level, especially when you're talking about situational football. I still do believe in the back quarter of the season last year, you started to see a guy who was starting to hit his stride from a health perspective. I think he would then, like in real-time situations, be able to make the kind of throws, make the kind of decisions that would really allow this football team to, again, provided everything else around him is going the way it needs to go, that would level up the position. Look, that's not trying to be disrespectful to Russ or any other, or Justin Fields or anyone else who's been there. But the fact of the matter is, he's a better quarterback, all things being considered, than those two players are at this point in his career. So I think if the defense will continue to hold up their end of the bargain, Mike will hold up his end of the bargain from a coaching perspective, DK will do his thing, George will do his thing, Pat Freiermuth do his thing. Yeah, I do think that Pittsburgh can make some noise in the North and in the AFC overall.
Go ahead, Shannon.
A wagon full of empty cans make noise. Now, y'all said, I remember you saying the same thing when they got Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. You say they're going to make some noise.
No,
now,
I didn't.
Tell me, he's a much better quarterback than Russ. Hold on just a second. You said he's a much better quarterback than Russ and Justin Fields. Was he a better quarterback in New York than Zach Wilson? Are we sure? Are you getting an old Aaron Rodgers or just an old Aaron Rodgers? Because they're two different players. Now, what we saw in New York was a guy that can consistently, game in and game out, deliver. I think you're asking him to be what he was in Green Bay during those MVP seasons. I don't believe he's at that level anymore. Can he have a game or two here and there? Yes. But, Lewis, you know this, having studied the game and played the game. As you get older, those games that you could stay at this level become few and far between. You're not able to do it consistently, game in and game out, throw in and throw out. So I think that's his biggest problem. And also, you're saying that Rodgers is going to be this. That Steelers defense can't have any slippage because we saw the Jets. When they had a little slippage, he wasn't able to take them over the top. Do I believe he has better weapons at the receiver position? Yes. But what happened to the Crash Out brothers when they're not getting the ball? You know what's going to happen when DK doesn't get the ball. You know what's going to happen when George Pickens doesn't get the ball. So I'm not really sure how much better he actually makes the Steelers. I still don't believe they'll be better than the Ravens. I don't believe they'll be better than Cincinnati this year for the simple fact at the quarterback play. He's not a better quarterback. Is he more accomplished than Lamar and Joe Burrow? Absolutely. But is he a better quarterback at this stage? Nah.
But there are a number of different things that need to happen in order for Aaron to play at his maximum within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. And I'm not saying Aaron can elevate and kind of be a guy who can kind of like let's just say soften some of the things that they have as far as their deficiencies are concerned. I'm not saying he's of that level of quarterback anymore. Well, look, when he was in New York, offensive line play was a big problem for New York. If you measure by pass block, run block, win rate, as far as that group of 5 that they had there, it wasn't good enough for him to be able to play at the level that we're asking him to play at this point in his career because of the diminished skills that he has at this point in time. So, look, there's a lot of things that Pittsburgh's going to need to correct and need to improve upon in order for you to get the best out of him. Okay, so the offensive line is where that's going to start. The running game is where that's going to have to be obviously a very big part of the complementary pieces around him that have to really raise their game. Arthur Smith's going to have to raise his game. DK and, as you call the Crash Out brothers, him and George Pickens, are going to have to be on their very best behavior and be at their very best. I'm just saying this, though. I believe that Aaron, at this point in his career, I mean, Shannon, you can speak to this. There's something to be said for motivation at this point in his career, given how his career has gone since he's been in New York. Well, and how he looked at the end of last year would lead you to believe that if you provide him with a stable situation in terms of coaching staff, offensive play caller, offensive line is healthy, and having some weapons on the perimeter, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to surprise some people this year. I know it's easy right now to kind of to sit there and bang on him and say, look, his best days are long behind him. I don't believe that's true necessarily. I believe that he will elevate his play in 2025, given the right situation.
Well, I think you're wrong in that. I think his best days are behind him. I just think that his less than best days are still a better option than anything that's on the table right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's where the real story lies here, Shannon. It's really not about what Aaron Rodgers brings to the table. It's about the options that you have if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You let Justin Fields walk out the door, right? He decided he'd rather be a New York Jet than be a Pittsburgh Steeler, okay, because of the absence of faith that they may have had in him. Russell Wilson is now a New York Giant. So you had 2 quarterbacks in Pittsburgh, both leaving for the swamp in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The stench that the Giants have created on top of the stench that exists in the damn river there. I mean, they decided they'd rather be there than Pittsburgh, okay? So now you have a situation where if you don't have an Aaron Rodgers, you've got a Mason Rudolph, and here are a couple of their other options. A Joe Flacco, a Carson Wentz, a Drew Lock, a Case Keenum, a Desmond Ridder, or a Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sorry. When those are your options, you need to prioritize getting Aaron Rodgers to want to be in Pittsburgh. Now what we have to ask ourselves is this. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, your defense is expected to be formidable, just as it always has been, because we know they can't lose T.J. Watt, can't lose that brother. And whenever he's in the lineup, you're in a good position for your defense to be formidable. Okay, you kept Warren as your running back. Najee Harris is gone. He's a Charger now, right? You got DK Metcalf. You got Pickens. You got Freiermuth, all right? So now it's a matter of, is your offensive line up to snuff? If all of those questions are answered, the pieces that I mentioned about the Pittsburgh Steelers can compete with anybody in the AFC North if your quarterback is decent enough. So now we're asking ourselves, it's really not about Aaron Rodgers, Shannon, and whether he is